Facing a left-handed pitcher in Tanner Bauman.
I'm sorry. Bauman's going to be fastball 90-93. Really plus slider. Change up that is still a work in progress. It's all about him getting some innings in. He can be dominant one time around the order.
Game time temperature 82 degrees here on the Plains. 1-0 to Gage Miller. We see the fastball there at 89. Gage Miller, easily Alabama's top hitter, leads the team in batting average, hits, homers, RBI, just about every category. A huge addition to this team. Coming from Bishop State Community College down in Mobile. You know, Coach Vaughn, he said he's the best hitter no one knows about.
Yeah, well, he actually, take it a step further, the best player that nobody knows about. And you go through his numbers, and they are silly.
It's got to be a thrill for Miller. Getting a chance to play at the Division I level after putting together a couple of special years at Bishop State Community College. And he is carved up that time. Tanner Bauman sits him down, and that's the first out of the evening.
Be a little bit of a sword right here out of Gage Miller, but you can see the numbers: 4.84, 2-2 on the year. He's been back and forth between the rotation over the last 5 weeks and in the bullpen, and he can be one of those dominant lefties in the bullpen as well. But he gets the Thursday night start.
He faces Ian Petritz. Takes a called strike. You know, Bauman, he's got that ERA close to 5, but as a starter, Greg, he's below 4 this season. He's really stepped into that role and found some success.
Yeah, he's one of those guys out of the bullpen. If he goes one time around the order, he will carve it up. It's a couple outings that got left in there a little bit long, and some damage was done after he had left the game.
Senior from Jacksonville, Florida. As a starter, his strikeout rate has gone down, but his walk rate has plummeted. And this is a little jam job rolled up the first base line and taken by Cooper McMurray for the second out. But the other thing that has risen for Tanner Bauman as a starter is his ground ball rate like that. He's done a great job of getting soft contact early in the count.
Yeah, no, he has been really good, and it's really good stuff. It's a very unique arm angle, arm slot, and he's coming from a 6'5" stature. So there's a lot going on that mound right there, 60 feet away.
And Justin LeBron, the freshman shortstop, belts one towards the gap in right center. It's one hops off the wall, gathered by Irish. It's going to be a 2-out double for Justin LeBron.
Well, LeBron just saw what happened over the last couple of hitters, and he's going, I'm not waiting around. Because you can try to get ahead of me. First pitch fastball, middle of the plate, down, stays inside of it. Deep drive to right center, easy stand-up double.
And now an early chance for William Hammer to drive in the game's first run. Hammer is from Tuscaloosa. He waves and misses. You know, Coach Vaughn described his love for Alabama as unhealthy. He loves it too much, which that tells you a little bit about how he must feel about Auburn.
Well, you could kind of see that look right there on that first pitch slider that he got. He goes, I got a chance to do some damage right away against Auburn. And he ends up swinging at a slider about a foot outside. I'm sorry, Wiley. I am going to take advantage of that, and I am throwing about 2 more sliders so far outside.
There goes LeBron from second. The pitch is outside. No throwdown from Cale Strickland, who's making just his 13th start of the season. The freshman from Watkinsville, Georgia. It's in the Athens area.
And it's just all on Bauman, paying no attention whatsoever to LeBron.
And Alabama, they're not a team that runs a whole lot. Auburn, on the other hand, runs a ton, but Alabama, that's just the 29th stolen base for them as a team this year.
Well, I mean, I tell every one of my kids, I'm going, you got 2 outs, guy on second base, give him a look, but don't pay him a whole lot of attention. And LeBron takes advantage of that.
And so far, Hammond not biting on any of those sliders Bauman's casting outside.
I hate to already look at open bases and everything else, but at some point, if fastball in would be really effective because it's coming straight out of that same slot as that slider that he's seen 5 straight of.
Strike 3 called. He feathered one on the outside corner, and William Hamiter caught looking to end
contact.
Chris Stanfield leading off for the Tigers. Sophomore center fielder. The first pitch, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball above the zone. Stanfield had a big series up at Missouri, 2 hits in each of the 3 games, including a couple of home runs. He's ahead in the count 2-0. Ferrone, meanwhile, Greg, he's gotten touched up a little bit his last couple of starts. Given up 5 home runs in those 2 starts. Now, he was dealing with some food poisoning, as was almost the entire Crimson Tide team 2 weeks ago against Mississippi State. But he has been somewhat long ball prone. Auburn's been hitting a lot of home runs recently. This is an interesting matchup entering tonight.
Something to watch. But yeah, the Mississippi State series, first time I've heard that when we were talking to Coach Vaughn today. 33 of the 39 players on the roster for Alabama experienced some sort of food poisoning. He goes, it was really not even trying to win games. I was trying to field a team.
Yeah, Saturday especially. And a leadoff walk to Chris Stanfield. Well, Ferrone, he hadn't walked many this year. It's uncharacteristic, issuing a free pass. And here comes Ike Irish.
Very uncharacteristic. He's in the 13th, he's 13th in the SEC in walks allowed. And a leadoff 4-pitch, not very competitive at bat.
And Ike Irish back in right field tonight. He's been DH the last couple of weeks coming off injury. And he takes a first pitch strike. Ike's the kind of hitter, he's not going to see a lot of first pitch fastballs, is he?
No. You know what? I mean, he's such a good hitter. You can't stay in one mode. You're going to have to do something different. So fastball in here, move it around.
The 0-1 is lashed to the left side, past Miller at third, and the Tigers have 2 on, nobody out to begin the bottom of the first.
He just does not come off the fastball, flat plane swing. Even after a first pitch slider, strike 1, he's still hunting fastball, gets an elevated one out over, and that's what he does very well. It's just a human spray chart.
So 2 on, nobody out in this spot right here, Greg, the 3-hole. It's been kind of a revolving door since Bobby Pierce went down for the year.
Yeah, and we might see Cooper Weiss bunt here. Not normal, first and second, nobody out. 3-hole hitter coming up, but he leads the SEC in sacrifice bunts. And Weiss has been hot. And so to your point, Irish has been here, Bobby Pierce has been here, McMurray's been in the 3 spot. They have gone through about everybody trying to solidify the top part of this lineup.
And when you get to the final week in the regular season, you haven't settled on a 3-hole hitter. That kind of tells you how challenging a year it's been for Auburn.
I think it goes more to the fact that they can't put together a starting lineup that's consistent. You know, I mean, every other SEC team you can go through, and I could have pretty much put Alabama's down. And there's a couple guys that have moved spots. Auburn, I don't touch until I get here and I see the actual lineup. Because it's been Weiss leading off, it's been Stanfield leading off. You've got Caden Green batting 5th right now. He's been in the 8th spot. I mean, it's guys here and there all over the place. I don't envy Gabe Gross, to be honest with you, because he's got to wake up and make the lineup up.
There have been years when Auburn's been able to just Sharpie in those 9 names, and this has not been one of them. But an early chance to get to Greg Ferrone here. Weiss fends off a fastball at 92. Ferrone spent last year at Louisville, made 6 starts for the Cardinals, ERA just below 5. Prior to that, he was at Herkimer Junior College. That's a Division III junior college where he was the Division III junior college pitcher of the year in upstate New York. But when Coach Vaughn told us about recruiting Ferrone, first they looked at him when he was leaving Herkimer at Maryland, where Coach Vaughn was at last year. Then this year, they got him down to Tuscaloosa for a recruiting visit. He wore a Metallica t-shirt.
We got to have that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a good story he told today. I really appreciated that. Everybody else is in golf shirts and looking nice, and he comes down in a metallic t-shirt and he goes, I got to have this guy. But lost the recruit to Louisville and then got another chance at him via the transfer portal.
Another 2-2 pitch. Weiss works the count full. Well, I think Coach Vaughn was candid about it. You know, when he was selling Ferrone a year ago, he was selling Maryland in the Big Ten, which is one of the best Big Ten teams there is. But he admitted, look, outside the Big Ten, it's hard for that conference to get respect. SEC, everyone knows.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
And Weiss hits a ground ball, handled by Miller, flips on to second. Grant, the turn to first, in and out of the glove of Hodo. Stanfield thought about darting home, but he stays at first. We got runners in the corners and 1 out.
Gage Miller at third base, ranging to his left, gets it out of his hand quickly to Grant. Grant's throw just a little bit low, short hops Hodo, and he's just unable to scoop the backhand. Let's see how Ferrone acts right here, because in this moment, you're sitting there as a pitcher, you're going, I got a double play ball. And then all of a sudden now you don't have a double play ball. You got first and third, 1 out, and you got Auburn's dude at the plate.
Cooper McMurray, transfer from Kansas. And a big swing and a rip. And Ferrone fed him a breaking ball.
That's the book on every hitter. As soon as they come up with guys in scoring position, they want to go early in the count, and you take advantage of that as the pitcher.
Do you ever get to the point where you feel like hitters come off of the fastball first pitch, runners in scoring position, because it's always a breaking ball?
Some will, yeah, some will, and you're playing the game of, okay, you know what, you got me on this once, I ain't doing that again, and then it becomes a back and forth the more you see somebody.
McMurray drives one high in the air, deep left center field. That ball is carrying, but onto the track. Ian Petritz makes the catch. Stanfield glides home. It's a sacrifice fly for Cooper McMurray. 1-0 Tigers.
Petritz looked like he got a late jump to it, and then it's the deepest part of the ballpark, and then it's the sun field. So there was a lot going on. He made a really nice play to get back to that ball. Had a long run, had the sun.
Not bad for a guy who's in his first year playing the field at this level. He was a DH at Maryland the last 2 years. And you know, Coach Vaughn praised the work that Ian Petritz has put in out there in left, but they wouldn't describe him as a plus defender.
No, but I mean, that was a really solid play. Watching his jump initially was a little slow off the bat, and then able to run it down into the canyon with the sun, worried about the center fielder McCants. There's a whole lot going on.
Not a lot of Mr. Octobers in college baseball, but this guy might be Mr. May. Caden Green peaking at the right time of the year for Auburn. And he sends a ground ball rolling through the right side. Weiss digging around second. He's going to try for third. Hammer's throw goes to second. Auburn using their speed here on the base paths.
Well, if you ask me to describe Caden Green in a nutshell, I would say he's a baseball player. He looks over, he sees Max Grant shaded over towards the middle, a wide open 43 hole. He gets a fastball outer half and just sprays it over there, base hit, first and third again.
And there it is right there. I mean, since April 1st, Caden Green, he has been clutch. Now Cade Ballou in for a call strike. Have you noticed this Auburn lineup, by the way, today? We've got two Coopers, a Caden, a Cade, a Cale, and a Colt.
I tried to stay away from thinking about that because I was going to write some names in wrong.
And off goes Green, and he'll take second base as Gassetti pumped a fake down to second. But he wasn't going to be baited into letting Cooper Weiss try and score.
Caden Green, delayed steal. Haven't seen that for a little while. Kind of jaunted down to second base, not moving real fast, trying to draw any throw he could.
Ballou comes up empty. There's no question about the power for Ballou or the defense. The hit tool was what kept him out of the lineup early in the season, but I feel like he's really benefited from these consistent reps in the second half. Trying to come up with a 2-strike, 2-out RBI.
He was a guy, about the end of March, Gabe Gross behind the batting cage told me, I got to get this guy some at-bats, because he was swinging it well in the cages and the scrimmage games. He just couldn't find a place, and then Bobby Pierce got hurt. And here's Cade Ballou's shot.
A swing and a miss after the high fastball. Ferrone Swing and a miss there from Cade Snell, and you've also got 12 wins against the RPI top 25.
Yeah. No, I mean, everything's there. And they've been playing well lately. They're getting it rolling late, other than we talked about the Mississippi State series where they won 1 of 3, but 2 of 3, versus LSU. Everything's there. They just got to get to, you feel like 14 wins is really safe in the SEC.
Ground ball punched out to second, Green to first. Yeah, 14 you feel like it's a lock. 13 with their RPI in 5 series wins, including series wins over Tennessee, South Carolina, and Arkansas. You feel like 13 ought to be enough. But we asked Coach Vaughn about that, and he said, you know what? My preference would be just come in here, win 3 games, and go to hoop.
Yeah, that would probably be everybody on that side of the field's preference. Take care of business, sweep their arch rival Auburn.
Well, that's the other piece, too. I don't care if you're on the road. It's another ground ball. High chopper, tough hop for Fabian. He tried to charge it. Karam's in shallow left center, but Gassetti's going to stay at first base. But if you're at, turns to about 90%.
I'm trying to figure out who those 6 teams that didn't get in having 15 wins in the SEC were.
By the way, that will be a single for Gassetti. And here TJ McCants.
That was a tough play for Fabian. He had 1 shot at it, tried to get a short hop. It came up off the heel.
TJ McCants having the best year of his career at the college level. First at Alabama. Fouls this one back, but he's got career highs in batting average, on base, slug, doubles, homers, stolen bases, you name it. And he's back in center field. That's where he spent most of the time early in his career, but he was in the corner last couple years with Ole Miss. Ooh, and a loud hit by a pitch. That hit the arm guard directly.
Bauman had been working the left-handed hitters of Alabama in. This 4-seamer just ran straight in. Caught the elbow pad. I like the fact that McCants was actually upset that he got hit.
Yeah, there's some guys in this game who there might be a little wink, nudge about, hey, if that ball's headed towards you, go ahead and try and lean into it. McCants is not that guy. You want him swinging.
It wasn't a good count for McCants, but turns out all right. Runners on first and second.
For Will Hodo, takes ball 1. Junior out of Waynesboro, Mississippi. For an aggressive Alabama offense, he's one of their more patient hitters.
Yeah, that first pitch he took, I was questioning where the pitch was. Obviously, his eye is better than mine. Coach raved about his eye as well. He's got an unbelievable feel for the strike zone.
And he jumps on the 1-1 and strikes it down the left field line, but foul. Leads the team with 32 walks. This is the most playing time he's gotten in his Alabama career, year number 3. Chance to tie this one up with the catcher Gassetti at second. Swing and a miss. That breaking ball's been on for Bauman.
Yeah, that's the way they're working the lefties. It's going to be 2-seamers and 4-seamers running in on their hands, and the sliders running out of that same slot. You can see this is just an emergency hack. Of about 30 feet in, he recognizes it's a slider, and he's just trying to slice a ground ball to shortstop.
So east-west so far for Tanner Bauman. Here's Max Grant. 9-hole hitter takes strike 1. All the way from Canada. Think he grew up watching Auburn, Alabama? No. Ground ball scalded to second. And Green tosses across to first. That ends the inning. Single and hit batsman, but 2. And they asked him, how do you balance wanting to win this series against your arch rival, but also getting a look at some younger hitters, guys who could be part of the program moving forward? And, Coach Thompson was pretty candid saying, well, I think we're doing both because these guys have worked so hard to earn their opportunity. They can help us win. They give us the best chance to win.
And I agree with it. It used to be the old days where you would, put out a bunch of freshmen, and then on senior day you give all the seniors a shot, but throw the freshmen into the game and let's see where they're at. And with the Alabama series and what's on the line, that Auburn can actually keep them home, possibly.
Where it's fouls off the plate.
It kind of adds a little bit of a dimension to it. If it wasn't Alabama and it was Vanderbilt, then you're going, yeah, it might mean a little bit less to Auburn.
You see Coach Thompson. He's got a great sixth sense of when the camera's on him, he tries to ducks away. But no, you're right, Greg. This is the first time Auburn and Alabama have closed out the regular season against each other since 2009.
I didn't even have that one. That's pretty good, Wiley. That's why you're the best. You just keep pulling stuff out.
I hope it's right. This one's gonna miss. Down goes Cole Edwards. But to your point, Greg, that's kind of a carrot you could hold at the end of what has been such a disappointing season. Yeah. I mean, it's not often, even in this league, everybody is so competitive that you have a team that is truly playing for nothing, not even an SEC tournament berth. But for Auburn, they don't feel like it's that way. You're facing Alabama, you're playing for your seniors, and Coach Thompson said, look, next year starts now. A slicing pop-up towards the tarp. Will Hodo have room? Yes. Fabian retired on one pitch.
Yeah, but that's the way it used to be. You used to look at it going, okay, I got to get the young guys some shots. We got to see what we got. Get some experience. It used to be in the big leagues, you get called up for the last month, and if it didn't mean anything for that major league team, I got thrown in 10 games, and we were 1,000 games in last place, and nobody cared. And that was what you would look at and see how these guys are going to come back, get them a little bit of experience. You saw that Ballou had, 24 games. Rivera has gotten some starts. I was actually kind of surprised he wasn't in the lineup tonight at third. But Edwards has barely gotten on the field.
Down the right field line, Strickland dumps one. Racing over Hammeter, Strickland will throw on the brakes at first base. A two-out single for the freshman catcher.
Gets a fastball running up and in. Just a nice swing, fights it off, strong enough to get it out to right field. Good base running, recognized that Hammeter got to that ball and was going to have a good shot at throwing him out.
Now Chris Stanfield walked in his first at bat. He takes ball one here. Auburn got a sac fly in the bottom of the first from Cooper McMurray. Trying to make a little two-out noise here in the second. So far, what have you seen from Ferrone? Now one trip through the order.
I mean, good stuff, tight, short slider. Haven't seen the changeup yet. He's got very limited amount of curveballs thrown, so it's mainly fastball, slider, changeup. And he's just been working one time around, a little old school with fastball, slider.
And the 2-0 is Sky back behind the plate.
But Alabama's one of only two teams that I know of, not a fact, just two teams that I know of where the catcher calls the game. So Gassetti's actually calling this game. And I found that fascinating because all these guys are going to get to, not all these guys, but a lot of these guys are going to get to the next level, and there's nobody calling their pitches. They're expected to read foul balls and understand the situation and who the hitter is and what the pitch sequence needs to be. And in college baseball, and I understand it and I don't blame it, where you don't want to trust a kid's first time calling a game to be in the SEC, where your job's on the line as a head coach.
A lot of pressure to win nowadays. A 3-1 pitch in for a strike. As a pitcher, how important was it to you to feel like you were a part of the pitch calling, or do you just want your catcher to throw down a sign and you just worry about executing?
It was all my call.
Really?
Yeah. So the catcher put down his opinion, and then I went with what I liked. So if I didn't like the call,
Stanfield sends this one high in the air. Hodo gives it a look. That's going to land on the concourse.
And the construction area. But if I didn't like the call, then I'd shake to wherever I got to, because if I was not fully committed to whatever that pitch was, then it generally was not going to be very good. So if somebody kept forcing their opinions on me for what pitch it was called, it turned out not to work out so well because I didn't like the pitch call.
They're opinions, not even recommendations.
Okay.
Foul at the plate.
Yeah, they could be. I guess if the catcher puts a finger down, he's recommending that I throw this pitch. Yeah.
I feel like I can hear you in your Jeff Bridges, Big Lebowski voice going, "That's just your opinion, man."
Good take there. Yeah, just an opinion.
8th pitch of the at bat, and on the thumbs and just foul. You know, on the flip side of that coin, you know, I heard Chris Sale talking about it, who pitched at Florida Gulf Coast, obviously a star in the big leagues the last 10 years. He says he has never called a pitch in his baseball life. Wow. He didn't, he's never shaken a pitch. He's just said, throw it down and throw it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, his stuff's like going, you know what, he's just got loud noise coming at the hitter. It's just like, you know what, it doesn't matter what I throw, you're out.
3-2 is spoiled by Stanford. Yeah, I think
some of us had to think it through a little bit and go, okay, what's he trying to do? How did I get him out last time? You know, a whole lot of information going through my brain. He's just going, all right, which piece of loud noise do you want me to wipe out the hitter with now? You might want to ask somebody cerebral. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying that's just unbelievable stuff.
3-2 is skied high in the air. McCants coming in. LeBron going out. It'll be the tied center fielder McCants to make the catch. 2-out single for
Here against Kentucky.
First pitch to Gage Miller, taken for a called strike. A lot of renovations to Plainsman Park over the years, enhancing this facility.
I can't wait for the seats above the Green Monster.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. Gage Miller got carved up pretty good by that slider with Tanner Bauman.
And that one was a changeup, so he's seeing the different multi-direction off-speed stuff. Let's see if Bauman goes to that slider down and in right here.
Got Miller on the slider in the first at bat. Coach Vaughn called him a walking 33-inch barrel. That's what the stats said.
Well, Coach also said that you cannot sneak a fastball by him. And right now, Bauman's going, not even trying. Here comes slider, 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 even though the stats at Synergy say that he hits a slider at a 405 pace.
Flicked foul, he stays alive. I mean, when you're hitting 370 against righties and over 400 against lefties, I mean, the short answer is the guy kind of hits everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no book. It's not, it's just kind of in sequence. And this is what I love about the games. You're sitting there watching it and it swings and you're going, okay, now he's starting to try to spoil sliders away, which usually will open up a fastball in like that.
Backhand chance for Weiss. And Miller set down to begin the third. Special.
And that building keeps going up. The more I get here, miss a week, and I come back, and it's like, okay, that wasn't there. That's new. Got the student seating a little bit out under the flag, out in right center.
And Petrutz bounces one into the ground, gobbled up by McMurray. 2-0. So are you going to have your sweet?
I can't even get into the Hall of Fame club down here.
Oh, I don't believe that. Yeah. You're a Hall of Famer. Those are some pretty nice seats down there, though.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool addition. They've done a nice job of expanding this while still keeping the same nuances that Plainsman Park. Initially, when they started building it, I believe back in '97, they took a trip to Fenway, they took a trip to Wrigley, took a trip to Camden Yards, took a little bit of everything. It's a very unique ballpark.
And one of the joys if you're designing a ballpark is getting a chance to be inspired by some of those cathedrals at the Major League level, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool trip, getting to walk around those three ballparks.
You think I just call them up and say, hey, I'm designing a stadium?
Yeah, it'll work.
Yeah.
Just to have an idea where the stadium is that you're thinking about to design, and
just come up with something that's viable, I suppose, right?
Well, you just found your way out to Dodger Stadium, correct?
Yes, first
and
time.
How was that?
That was pretty cool. That was one that was on the list.
Did we finish the list yet?
No. Got to get to the Hoover Met. There's a call strike on LeBron. LeBron's the only hitter to get a ball in the air off of Tanner Bauman so far. It was a double into right center, but everything else has been on the ground, even the base hits.
And Coach Vaughn calls this kid a superstar. And so far this season, he has been one coming into the SEC as a starting shortstop. Very rare he is living up to the hype.
Batting in a 3-hole as a freshman. Bauman's payoff. And this is a rope into left center field that's down for a base hit.
He's going to walk into the dugout and go, what is the problem? 2 for 2, single and a double, halfway to the cycle. Gets a fastball, or it looked like a Bauman sinker elevated out over. He gets the bat above it, drives it into left center.
How is it received when a freshman goes in the dugout and asks the other guys, what's your problem? This guy's easy to hit.
Yeah, it doesn't go
Doesn't go well.
No.
Okay.
Highly recommending not doing that.
So William Hammer struck out looking at his first at bat. Checking on LeBron here. He took third base in the first inning, stealing it from second after his double.
Let's see if he tries to move into scoring position, but Bauman's been pretty stingy versus opposing base runners. Only 2 stolen bases on the year, and Strickland's been fairly good, throwing out 3 out of the 19 that he has seen.
A little over 15%, and this battery's been working together the last few weeks. That's one of the reasons Coach Thompson put Strickland in the lineup, as Bauman missed his location there, 2-0.
I feel like Strickland catches the sinker ball a little bit better on the bottom of the zone.
Getting that low strike call.
Just some aspects in life that you listen to some of the baseball guys talking, you're going, huh? Never even thought about it.
And a pick back throw. LeBron scampering back. He's in safely 3-0 here on Hamiter. But Bauman's paying attention to LeBron over there. He might end up walking him into second base anyway.
Yeah, he threw a lot of sliders in the first inning to Hamiter to get him to strike out. Now he is in no position to do that.
Fastball right down the heart of the plate.
Let's see if LeBron tries to run in this spot. 3-1 count. Good hitter spot.
Ball 4. First walk of the night for Bauman. And Alabama, a little 2-out traffic here. Cade Snell's coming up for the tie.
I think you were right on the head with Bauman. Just focus was a little bit split towards first base. That's going to bring up pitching coach Everett Tieford. Nobody warming up in the second inning or third inning here, so it's going to be a conversation on how they're going to go about. Slider's his best pitch, and you got lefty-lefty matchup.
Those first pitch fastball. Now that might set up that slider.
Well, he got him out in the second inning with a fastball in, so he shows a slider here, gets to a 1-1. You might expose a fastball in, that 2-seamer in, which he's been doing all night. Or you can go 0-2, a couple more sliders away and try to just completely take the bat out of his hands. It's just a tough left-handed matchup, and you got 6 lefties in the tied lineup. Really playing into Bauman's strength.
0-2. Lunge and a miss. Tanner Bauman retires Snell on 3 pitches. Strands a couple of. Greg Ferrone gave up a run there in the first inning, but so far looks like he was able to manage that situation. He's been that reliable Friday night guy for you.
No doubt. Greg's done a great job, man. I mean, walked the leadoff guy, which isn't what you want. And then, I mean, this hitter coming to the plate right now is one of the best hitters in the league, you know, and gives up a single to him. And then you get the double play ball, and we just don't turn the double play, and they execute, cash it with a sac fly. And, you know, that's kind of the difference in the game right there. They execute with the sac fly. We don't turn the double play. And then, you know, we've had guys all over the bases, and it's credit to Bauman, man. That guy's moving his stuff around that fastball. Feels like it's moving about 1.5 feet, and breaking ball's going the other way. So he's doing a good job keeping us off balance, but Greg's doing a good job so far.
Hey, first year in the SEC, what
Irish rips one into the corner there.
What does this rivalry mean to you?
Man, it's, you know, you learn really quick how much this means to the people in the state of Alabama, you know, and we knew this coming in. I mean, we're playing a team that, you know, mathematically their season ends here in a couple days, and And you know, I think it usually goes one of two ways. You either get the team that checks it in when that happens, or the team that plays super free and goes out and plays good baseball. And I know Butch, man, his teams ain't going to check it in. So this is a big weekend for everybody in this state. It's a big weekend for our program. And man, it took me about 5 minutes of being here to understand what this rivalry means. So we're excited to be here.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. We'll let you get back to it.
Thanks,
Irish
Coach.
there at second base.
Thanks, boys. Roll
Appreciate
Tide.
it.
Cooper Weiss offers the first pitch and flicks it foul. Well, Ike Irish, I don't think made Coach Vaughn feel very comfortable there.
I swear that happens every time I'm talking to a coach. It's like disaster happens on the field, and they're sitting there just trying to stay composed. And yeah, here Irish goes again, something like that. But
Cooper Weiss, you mentioned, he's got a few tools offensively he can use as he falls behind 0-2. Doesn't look like he's going to be bunting, swinging away here. Weiss bounced into that would-be double play ball, but Alabama could not turn it. Weiss got good speed.
yeah, I mean, you can sit here and speculate. Do you lay the bunt down, get the runners over? First inning, it was runners on first and second. You're really trusting Weiss and his batsmanship. And having your three-hole guy sacrifice bunts, one of those things where it's like very rarely seen, no matter that he has been the leadoff guy most of the year, and like I said, leading the SEC in sack bunts.
And a hard-hitting liner foul. Cooper Weiss transferring in from Miami of Ohio. Here's the MAC Defensive Player of the Year last year. You know, he's run a lot more this year than he ever did at Miami.
Yeah, almost doubled his career stolen bases this year alone.
Spits on that breaking ball low.
So he's up there right now trying to hit something to the right side. And Ferrone is trying to get him to do what he did in the first inning and hit a ground ball to third base, keep Irish right at second base with one out. So that's the game that you're seeing right here, is fastballs in, off-speed stuff away, trying to get him to roll over a ground ball, and Weiss is trying to get anything he can to hit a ground ball to second base.
So far, Ferrone's thrown 49 pitches. 13 of them have been to Cooper Weiss. He has been
That's
pesky.
a great catch.
And he bangs this one out in front of home plate. A bouncer. Miller looks back. Irish and went on to first. Get the first out. Irish still at second.
Ferrone won the at-bat. Got a soft ground ball to third base. I thought we might see Irish try to run, knowing that Miller at third base was going to run in front of the bag and have to field the ball on the run. But Irish stayed at second base, and McMurray comes to the plate again with a runner in scoring position.
Had a sac fly in his first at bat. You know, McMurray, you go back to last season, just a spectacular Auburn debut, starting his career at Kansas. Last year led the team in SEC RBI, SEC slugging percentage.
SEC home runs, I think he had 12. Really came on in SEC play.
And then in March of this year, he was going nuts. He had 7 home runs in a 12-game span, but in the second half of this season, you see it right there, just has not been the same hitter Auburn has seen his first year and a half.
Well, a lot of that is Bobby Pierce and Ike Irish injuries have taken away the guy leading up to Cooper McMurray and the guy usually batting in the 4-hole behind him. He lost both of those, and he had about a 3-week period of where he was 0 for. And it was all him taking the load on for this whole Auburn offense, and he expanded the zone, chased everything, and is really starting to settle back in a little bit now that Irish has come back into the lineup.
One thing's for sure, Ferrone's respecting him. Pitching carefully, trying to get him to chase. Caden Green is on deck. Do you think McMurray sees something in the zone here?
I would be shocked. I'm thinking he's going to see a slider outer half. McMurray's already swung at a couple balls that have left the zone.
Went after that one.
And that's one where McMurray's probably playing the same game, going, I know I'm getting a slider, and he got it. And Ferrone just threw a better slider than McMurray could hit.
Talk to some hitters, they just tell me I'm on time. I don't care where the pitch is. If I'm on time, I'll take it. And there's ball 4. So second walk for Ferrone tonight, 2 on, 1 out.
That's why I feel like hitters have it a lot easier. They just don't think about stuff like, just normal baseball stuff. I'm analyzing swings, and they're up there going, am I on time? Worry about keeping your own. Honestly, Butch is going to be worried about keeping a lot of his own guys.
I mean, I think even there'll be teams in Omaha who got to at least be aware their guys could be going somewhere else, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, that was the talk I had Florida State a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about Florida State went home early, got to the ACC tournament, and then was done, and they spent the whole time in the transfer portal, and should be a pass ball.
Irish and McMurray are going to move up. There's 2 and on Caden Green.
But Florida State spent the whole time while everybody else is in the NCAAs playing off, and they went out and recruited a whole bunch in the transfer portal, and now they're loaded.
They were in Auburn's position last year. They didn't even make the conference tournament last year. Wow. Which, Florida State not making the conference tournament, I mean, heck, they hadn't missed the NCAAs in 4 decades up until a couple years ago.
Yeah, that stat that we're going to show here in a little bit on consecutive runs into the NCAAs showed a lot more when Florida State had like 45.
Yeah, and Miami was in the 40s too. A little different now. And Green fouls it off. That's a wild pitch, by the way. That's how they scored it.
Okay. I've disagreed with more calls this year than I have in past years.
And Green fends this one off.
Ferrone's trying to get him up out of the zone, and Green has went and chased after him. Now the question is, can Ferrone go a little bit higher? Has he got a little bit more velo in the tank to try to get a big punch out here with runners on second and third?
2-2 and a ground ball to short. Infield playing back. LeBarn goes to third, and Miller applies the tag on McMurray as Irish comes in to score. RBI for Caden Green and 2-0 Auburn. Savvy play there by LeBron to get McMurray going to third.
That was just too easy. Yeah, run right in front of the shortstop. He's got an easy, quick out at third base. But McMurray trying to be aggressive, get into better scoring position, but that's one of those right in front of the shortstop. I'm trying to let him make the long throw across the diamond.
Okay, Ballou takes a fastball inside. I think he's been one of the highlights so far for Auburn here in the second half of the season.
I absolutely agree.
The batting average 270, but the on base over 400, the slug over 550. How about that right there? Over 1,000 in the OPS department last 22 games.
He is second on this Auburn team in home runs in SEC play. Only behind McMurray. 5, he's got 4. He's got 3 in the last 4 games. He's a very talented player, and it was a matter of finding a spot, and the unfortunate injury to Bobby Pierce opened up that spot.
Staying alive with 2 strikes. And there's always kind of, some silver lining when you lose a player like Bobby Pierce. Admittedly, it's thin because that's a big loss for Auburn, and who knows if their season plays out any differently with Pierce. But, Cade Ballou, he's going to be that much further along at the start of next season.
Yeah, and he wasn't seeing very much time at all, other than pinch hit and blowout. And then all of a sudden now he's got 24 games started. He's been out in right field, left field. He's more than capable center fielder. I saw, went to Auburn High School here.
2-2. And Ballou spoils that one.
Well, that's starting to be the evolution of a hitter, is when you spoil a really good breaking ball or something that's in the zone, that if you take it at strike 3 and you're able to get another pitch, it frustrates the pitcher. After a couple of them, I'm beyond frustrated.
And a hit by pitch and a 2-2 count. A lot of deep counts for Auburn here in this third inning as Green moves up to second on the blue hit by pitch. That's now 27 pitches in this third inning, and that's one thing Auburn has done a successful job of. They've gotten just the 2 runs off Ferrone, but they have driven his pitch count way up.
Yeah, he is, Ferrone's been their guy on Friday night, and over the first 6 weeks, it was kind of one of those where he was looking at it and wasn't really believing it. And then since week 6 or week 7, he really started to engage, embrace, and become that Friday night, even though it's Thursday, the Friday night starter.
Went from acting confident to being confident.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you said that better.
Coach Vaughn said it. I thought he said it pretty well. And a hard hit grounder off the pitcher's mound, gathered by Grant. And he will take it to second base himself, and that ends the inning. So Cole Edwards hits it hard, but right where Max Grant was. He sent a ground ball over towards Derek Fabian. Kind of a Baltimore chop. And it's ball 1 on Gassetti. You know, talking to Coach Vaughn, he couldn't express enough how invaluable Gassetti was, not just this season, but in the fall as well, as he was the lone returning starter from last year's lineup. And he strikes one into right center field. And he's got another base hit.
No, but he was a huge piece. This guy was on the all-regional Tuscaloosa team last year, leading their team in SEC RBI, leading the SEC in runners caught stealing. You can bring your backstop back with that experience.
Yes, but the first couple seasons at Florida down in Gainesville, then last year transferred to Alabama. He was the primary catcher. And when you got a senior like Gassetti who's tough, not just physically, but mentally. As McCann swings and lifts one high in the air, Stanfield is underneath it. Retired on 1 pitch. And now here's Will Hodo, and he wears this one, and Alabama's now got a couple men aboard. That's the second batter that Bauman's hit tonight.
This would just be a slider that did not slide. Middle of the back. Hodo gladly wears it, get a runner in scoring position.
And already Tanner Bauman, he's given up more line drives and fly balls in this inning than he did in the first 3 combined.
He is a ground ball pitcher. He's got a nice sink action. Coach Vaughn even mentioned it. Looks like it's breaking a foot.
And a high strike there on Max Grant. Just to tie a bow on that Gassetti story, though. Coach Vaughn described his at-bats in March and April as terrible. And they have been some of the best they've had since then. They had to make an adjustment there about the swing decisions.
Yeah, they were trying to slow him down and get him to engage, get a little bit more conscious of what was coming, when it was coming. And it has turned him around this season.
Easier said than done, though.
Oh, yeah.
0-2. Swing and a miss as Bauman pulls the string that time on Max Grant. There's the second out. That's the 4th strikeout. Beg your pardon, 5th strikeout for Bauman.
All been on sliders. This one is a slider that starts off at the hip. And it's just not a comfortable at bat because the first pitch was a 2-seamer running in on the hands that he gets for a strike. Then all of a sudden, out of that same exact spot, here comes a slider.
Now Alabama, who's 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. And the first pitch cut on and missed by Gage Miller. This was an issue for Alabama in their loss against LSU on Saturday, going just 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position. It's been something that Coach Vaughn's keenly aware of. He mentioned it going into this series as a point of emphasis. Got to have some better situational hitting.
Well, right now I'm seeing a lot of Alabama hitters very aggressive early in the count, and they're swinging at pitches that aren't necessarily strikes. And then all of a sudden it's 0-1. Now you put Tanner Bauman, who's got a really nice fastball slider mix, and put him in the driver's seat of an at bat just by that first pitch swing.
When you touched on it early in the game, I think it was with William Hamiter at the plate with LeBron at second, but as a pitcher, you're taking notes when guys are aggressive. And if they are, you're going to make them pay.
Well, I mean, that's just been a general book that I learned a couple years into the big leagues, is that hitters get ultra aggressive.
As Miller rakes one into left center field, racing around third. Here comes Gassetti. The throw comes into second from Cade Ballou. It's an RBI single for Gage Miller, and Alabama's on the board.
I talked about it in the middle of the game here when Miller was batting. You cannot sneak a fastball by this guy. And so it's been slider, slider, slider mania. Baumann tries to get him with a fastball, and he is right on time. Huge hit. First base hit with runners in scoring position for Alabama.
Did you think that was a pitch Baumann wanted to execute in a different spot there? Or you think Miller
No,
just
I think he thought he could basically, what they say is sneak a piece of cheese past a rat. You can't do it. And so he had been going with sliders away, and then all of a sudden you make Gage Miller so aware of that backdoor slider that he leans out there to try to cover it. Then now all of a sudden he's exposed in, which he got exposed in the third inning. But he had not made him completely and utterly aware of it. He thought he had, and that's the fun game of the back and forth. He bats third time around the order.
Driven into center field. Stanfield's got it measured. He's got it secured, and that is all for the Crimson Tide in the top of the fourth as Patrutz is. Butch Thompson, and Coach, so far it seems like your at-bats have been extremely competitive, driving up Ferrone's pitch count, and then you guys have been executing in key situations.
We got them over and got them in. That's how we got our two here. Both teams have had a chance there with 2 outs. I guess they finally cashed one in there to make it 2-1. But, the 2 out hits, both pitchers have done a good job. 2 lefties, and some good left-handed hitters on both sides. And we've seen a lot of left-handed breaking balls. And both of them are getting into a little bit of pitch count, I think, in the 70s now. So that transition's coming soon.
Hey, Coach, we know it's been a rough year, but what does this series have in the last 3 games against Alabama with them possibly in jeopardy of getting to the postseason? What's that mean to you?
Yeah, we've won 4 out of 5. We're just trying to make sure we finish strong, play well, absolutely get up off the mat, and move forward. So that's really our focus, is trying to play our best baseball of the year, like we've been trying to do for the last few weeks.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. We'll let you get back
to it.
Thanks, Butch.
Thank you, guys.
2-1 lead for Auburn, and first at bat, a ground ball to short. LeBron, a one-hopper into Hodo at first, and Justin LeBron retires Derek Fabian. Fine play there by the freshman shortstop.
Especially you got Gage Miller diving in front of him. This is an unbelievable play. The distraction right there. He comes up, and he's got to be concerned of where he's running, because Gage Miller's laying on the ground. He goes short hop. Nice pick by Hodo at first.
Yeah, Hodo didn't really have to stretch. That was right on target. He just had to measure out the pounce. Cale Strickland takes strike one, a fastball at 88. Yep, it's been a couple of lefties, as Coach Thompson said. All 3 runs that have scored today have been leadoff man that reached.
That's a good catch.
It's almost like when pitching coaches are mentioning, hey, get the leadoff guy. It seems like
it's kind of important.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, I was always really stressed about getting that leadoff guy. I felt like the inning was going to get a lot easier if I got 1 out and nobody was on.
0-2, and this one driven deep to right, but playable for Hameter. He's underneath it. 2 outs, nobody on. Sunday, the Rally Cap crew will break down the softball regionals in the final week of your favorite time of year, with baseball starting the postseason next week. Softball, NCAA tournament begins tomorrow. Both these teams in the field of 64 in softball. Heck, the whole conference in the SEC's in the softball tournament. Except Ole Miss, I beg your pardon.
Really? I thought they all made it.
I'm being told to blame my producer.
All right, perfect.
Ole Miss did get it, which is what I thought. But, Greg,
well, then who was in your ear telling you that they didn't get in?
The same person who's in my ear who's corrected all the other mistakes I've made on this show, to the point where what he says is gospel.
I'm so good I haven't heard from him yet.
That is a direct reflection on you. Does not bode well for me. Stanfield spoils this one. lot of two-strike fouls. I mean, Auburn, you know, they kind of started facing Ferrone, and I understand it's not elite stuff, but it's still, it's a Thursday night arm, and this pitch count is going to be at 80 or more through 4.
Only 2 strikeouts.
And a ground ball rolled out to second. Grant's got it. And a 1-2-3 inning. First of the night for Greg Ferrone. Auburn, having reached in 16 straight, swinging again first pitch.
Of course he leads off because he just made the play last inning.
Yep.
Still waiting on some analytics to come out with how often a guy comes up after making a great play. I think it's roaming around 72%.
A little better than 1 out of 9. 1-1 on Justin LeBron, and you know, we were catching up with Coach Vaughn. You know, he was telling us how, you know, his 8-year-old son Wyatt, and when they go to school driving in the car, he always wants to listen to everybody's walk-up song. But he says his favorite is Justin LeBron's, and you know, he says if Wyatt had a walk-up song, it would be LeBron's song. And when he plays Little League nowadays, he wears the eye black the same way Justin LeBron does.
What an experience that young man's got to have of hanging around these guys, and his dad's the coach, and you got a great role model like LeBron.
I'd like to ask Wyatt what it's like going from the Big Ten to the SEC. I'm curious if he's noticed a little change as LeBron takes the leadoff walk here in the 5th.
Tanner Bauman was not playing around this time. Both times that LeBron had come up, he'd seen fastballs and laced them into both gaps. So at that point as a pitcher, you try to do something different. That results in a leadoff walk. And what'd you say about all the runs being scored have been on?
Leadoff base hits or walks. There's a called strike on William Hameter. What a storybook ending his career is poised to have. A senior, really wasn't in the mix up until a few weeks ago. Alabama fans know the story well by this time, but Evan Slight, their team captain, he'd been the everyday right fielder before getting hit really hard by food poisoning, as did most of the team, but Slight was probably hit harder than most. So Hameter stepped in for him and got real hot. He comes into play today, 11 for his last 23. And, you know, Coach Vaughn goes up to Slight, their team captain, and he's about to have the conversation of, hey, you know, I think, you know, Hammy's gotten so hot, we got to go with him. And before Vaughn even opens his mouth, Slight tells him, you got to play Hammer. I'll be ready when you need me.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's awesome. That's the type of guy you got as your team captain. To know what the conversation's going to be and still not try to fight it. Knowing the best thing for your team right here is a hot guy in Hameter.
Strike 3 called. Bauman creases on a fastball.
Bauman's first strikeout with a fastball. This one's painted on the outside corner after Hameter had seen an enormous amount of breaking balls or 2-seam fastballs in.
It's a new career high in strikeouts for Bauman with 6 tonight. He gets a whiff there from Cade Snell. Look, this Alabama offense is aggressive. I think you see that in the numbers. They don't walk a whole lot. They hit for a lot of power. But nobody is more aggressive than Cade Snell.
Well, yeah, but he started his career here at Auburn.
Yes.
And then went to Wallace Community College. I can't even imagine what's going through his head where he didn't play here, redshirted, and then goes to the JUCO route and puts up some severe numbers. I mean, this guy is their midweek starting pitcher. Unbelievable athlete.
Right back to the mound. Bauman across to Weiss. And at first, a snow cone grab by Cougar McMurray. It is a 1-6-3 inning-ending double play. Shirted as a freshman.
Now the best player in the country.
I was talking to a scout as the first pitch to Ike Irish taken for a strike from Greg Ferrone. There were scouts in the area that had Georgia as the area, Condon's from the Atlanta area. they didn't know who he was until he took batting practice as a freshman in the fall at Georgia. He wasn't on the radar. I mean, forget being somebody you liked. He literally was not on the radar.
Yeah, no, that's really hard to believe, but I could see that first time they see him in BP.
Everybody's panicking. Who's this guy?
What I miss?
Yeah. Is this guy a senior or something? Is he eligible?
Capable of playing 5 positions. I mean, he is fun to watch.
And there were some that kind of looked sideways at him being put in some of those more defensively challenging positions. But I think there were some who said, well, maybe they're just trying to help his draft stock, trying to showcase some versatility. It's just 6 away from the SEC record. And Irish is hit, grabs his left hand. And I think Coach Vaughn wants to take a look and see if this hit bat or flesh.
Alabama has challenged on the field of hit by.
So our crew chief Derek Malika makes the announcement, and they'll go over to Hoover for the review. You know, these are so difficult to overturn, right? It's so hard to distinguish bat and glove.
That would be Pinky. The reaction right there tells me everything I need to know. He's not going to be capable of a ball hitting the end of the bat and him screaming almost simultaneously. I'm an expert in hit guys and their reactions.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. We have a hit by pitch, runner gets first base. Alabama has 1 challenge remaining.
I don't know why they got to go all the way to Hoover for that review. We got Greg Olson right here in the booth.
I'm an expert in hit by pitches and just the reactions.
So Irish aboard at first. Here's Cooper Weiss. Grounded out, grounded into a fielder's choice first couple of turns against Ferrone.
Both times Weiss has come up, it's been a borderline sacrifice bunt situation. Runners on second and then runners on first and second. And both times Ferrone has got him to hit a ground ball to third base and been kind of soft contact. So Ferrone's won both of these at bats.
And this time Weiss shoots it way up in the air. To the left side of the mound, it's Miller. He's camped, he's got it, 1 away. That was a big pop-up, huh?
That was a good one. I mean, Weiss had enough time to sit there and diagnose if Gage Miller was going to drop it because Irish had to stay close to first base. And Weiss was sitting up just outside of the batter's box looking at it going, is it going to tail foul? Is he going to drop it and throw me out at first? I don't think I've ever seen that before, where the runner was standing outside the box going, well, you know what, I better run.
A lot of time to think on that one. And McMurray takes a breaking ball for strike 1.
We're seeing a lot of left-handed pitchers in between things tonight. They're seeing an enormous amount of really good sliders, and then right when they get on time on the slider, here comes a fastball. And then Ferrone throws a curveball.
Yeah, he's getting close to his season high in pitches, 93. His season high, so he has not been a guy who's crossed over triple digits or really even come close. Austin Morris, redshirt freshman right-hander, is warming up in the pen behind the right field wall.
I'm sure they're going to try to get him through 5. And he's not concerned with the pitch count. It's a beautiful day. It's mid-May. It's humid. All the signs for going deep and getting into a good pitch count.
And the 1-2 reaching and grounding to second. Grant's got it. The turn at second, not in. Oh, yes, in time. They got McMurray. Clean double play turn there by the Crimson Tide, and that gets gotten theirs on a sac fly and a fielder's choice ground out. Meanwhile, Alabama, they got their lone run, an RBI single from Gage Miller with 2 outs, but
and
again,
Coach Vaughn said it, the double play that didn't get turned ends up turning into a sac fly by McMurray.
Strike 1 on Matt Cassetti.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was so excited to add to your great diatribe.
The fewer diatribes I can have, the better. I'll tell you right now. And Tanner Bauman continuing to work here. went just 4 innings against Missouri last Friday. And a hard hit fly ball out to right. Irish is there. And there's one down. So far, Tanner Bauman now 5 1/3, only 1 run allowed. Quite a performance for the senior on senior night.
Now he's done a really nice job in his struggles, and as you said, it's been 4 innings pitched for the most part. It's that 3rd time around the order comes up, and he's been able to continue to make pitches as we roll into almost coming up on the 4th time around the order. He's continuing to make quality pitches. Auburn doesn't have anybody warming up in the pen, which is somewhat surprising.
Well, Bauman's already gone well past his career high. He had never completed 5 innings. Now he's got an out here in the 6th.
That's what records are for, Wiley, to be broken.
To be broken. But this really does set the tone for Auburn. You know, it's their final weekend of the season. You're taking on your arch rival, and a guy like Tanner Bauman putting in a career high of innings and strikeouts.
Also doesn't hurt to have 6 left-handed bats in the Alabama lineup, and he is torture for left-handed hitters.
And you were talking about it earlier with Alabama. You feel pretty good about what the lineup's going to be, but that does mean if you've got a lot of lefties, the Cats came about as close as you can there. But when you got a lefty like this, you're going to have the 6 lefties in the lineup, and you know, for Alabama, they've been scoring reasonable amounts, so they'll roll with it. But that's an advantage for Auburn. That time he beats McCants up and in with the fastball.
Well, he's already hit him once. So there's that factor in play. And now all of a sudden, these 2 seamers are boring in on his hands, and he hasn't landed a slider yet to McCants. So that's in play as well. So you got sinker in, slider away.
Payoff. Strike 3 called.
Or sinker down Broadway.
7 strikeouts for Tanner Bauman.
This is just a hitter that is completely in the middle of everything. He has seen so many balls in on his hands that he's waiting for that pitch, or he's waiting and seeing that trajectory and angle, and he's going, that's going to be that slider that's going to be diving out of the zone. I'm not swinging at it.
How satisfying is that as a pitcher to lock somebody up on a fastball like that?
That means that you were actually completely right about the whole sequence of the at-bat and how it was going, and you're trying not to spend a lot of time going, okay, the hitter's looking for this, because you'll be wrong, but you're also trying to go, okay, what am I seeing? What kind of reactions am I getting? I can throw this pitch here, I can do this, and that all kind of comes to you when you're on the mound. But when you're able to freeze a guy up, knowing that you've done enough work over the past couple innings against him, and it also doesn't hurt when you hit him the first thing you see him.
Get that little thought in the back of his mind.
Yeah, it's still right there. He still might hit me.
2-2 now on Will Hodo.
You just don't see very many this heavy left-handed lineup. I mean, the bottom 3 guys, McCants, Hodo, and Grant, are all left-handed.
6 out of 9. Bauman ready with the 2-2 pitch to Will Hodo. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. And
That would be a great way to finish. I'm looking down at the bullpen, and we have limited movement, and that's a heating pad on his arm. I haven't seen any hugs, a couple of fist bumps just on the punch-outs. I'm going to say he's staying out there. He's got at least 1 more hitter, but nobody moving in the bullpen and nobody talking to him and hugging him. That's all the signs that he's going back out there.
It's a season high in pitches now for Greg Ferrone at 94. I mean, what reason is there to take Tanner Bauman out unless you feel like Alabama's on the cusp of knocking him out of the game, which it doesn't look like. I mean, Greg, there is no postseason for Auburn. He's a senior. If there's any night to let him go, this is it.
Oh, I agree. No, you know what? I mean, he passes the eye test, and that's how it used to be done, is the eye test, and it's not a pitch count. It's not anything else. He's still getting guys out at a high level.
Tough play on the right field line, slipping and sliding, and it ricochets off a Crimson Tide defender And at second base, Caden Green standing, as it was Max Grant and William Hammett both going for it. I don't know who it clanked off of. That's a leadoff
Double. It's got to go down as a double, but right here, Max Grant completely isn't even tracking the ball. You know, he's almost in Hammett avoidance mode. That's all I got. Is Grant got so deep, he's trying to avoid the right fielder, and that was all he was trying to do.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to be a Caden Green double.
You know what? When things are going good, that turns out to be a double.
So we call it a double with a bumper sticker. As I think that was right off the back seat of Max Grant's pants. So a leadoff double off the backside. And Cade Ballou sends a high fly ball to left. This is all Petrutz. One down. And now this is a big opportunity for Cole Edwards. He's just 2 for 12 on the season. This is his 4th start. You know, we caught up with Gabe Gross earlier today, Greg. He was really going on and on about what Cole Edwards can do offensively.
Yeah, now, and they're excited about him. They just haven't been able to get him in the lineup. He's not a strong defender out in the outfield, but he can swing the bat. And there was an opening for the DH spot. Caleb Freeman has a little hamstring thing going on. But my statistician, Luke Leatherman, found Chase Alsop went 6 innings against Arkansas. So,
and that's the only one, right?
That's it.
All righty.
That says about everything you need to know about the Auburn starting staff this year.
And admittedly, you know, today's game of college baseball, you're probably not seeing as many long innings as you would have 10, 15 years ago, but 6 innings.
That one's really hard to believe, and I don't know if I attribute it to. I don't think the pitcher's stuff is worse than it's ever been. I think it's probably better. So then you're going, all right, well, then that means that the hitters are better than ever, and it's harder to run through the lineup 3 times than it used to be.
I've heard some talk about, certainly at the major league level, and it's kind of hard to believe at the college level, but you have so many other bullpen options.
Yes. Well, that's the way you used to go through life of, all right, is the guy I'm bringing in from the bullpen better than the guy that's on the mound right now? And right now, I'm kind of looking, yeah, there's some guys out in the bullpen that'll do it. It'll probably be John Armstrong coming in next, and he's the exact opposite of Tanner Bauman. But why would you want to bring a righty into this lineup unless it's the top part where there's 3 right nearby each other? That's just the old way. I don't. You know what? It's really hard. That's one of those things it's hard to explain of why guys don't go deep. I mean, even Hagen Smith, 6 innings, on occasion 7, but he's not more than that. And when you look at complete games and shutouts, you're going 0 almost across the board.
I think a lot of the thinking too, the 3rd time through the order, right, is become scarier because everybody knows those numbers. Edwards caught looking for the 2nd out. But you kind of chuckle at that. Do you think too much is made out of that?
I do. But, you know, I mean, there's enough analytics and stats that say 3rd time around the ordering, batting average goes up to 333 as opposed to 275 as opposed to, you know, whatever it is for the 1st time around. I chuckle at it because it's like what we're seeing right now. If that was the case, Tanner Bauman's out after 4. He's out after 3 1/3. He doesn't make it into the 4th on the 3rd time around the order. And the eye test is telling you, hey, you know what? He's throwing really well. He's mixing his pitches. He's got a lot of lefties in the Alabama lineup, so it's advantage him. And the eye test is he's passing the eye test for me.
Yeah, no more than 15 pitches in a single inning outside of that 3rd. And look, I don't want to give short shrift to Greg Ferrone either. No. He's 5 2/3, 1 out away from completing 6 himself. He's got a season high 105 pitches.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's 105 pitches under constant duress, then we're having a whole different conversation. He's been able to navigate.
A hard liner out to right field, taking back. Hammett, it's over his head. This will score Green. It's a double for Derek Fabian. And Auburn leads 3-1. And a little how do you like me now look. I mean, that ball was torched.
And that's one of those where Ferrone's standing out there going, how did I get to that point that I wanted to throw him a fastball down and away? Because Fabian blistered it. And the first 2 times he's seen Fabian, he's gotten him out with soft contact on sliders. And sometimes you just flat out outthink yourself. You know, you look at it and you go, I've gotten him out with sliders. At some point, I got to go to a
innings. Is that a high enough walk rate to wear 99?
99's a unique number. That's got to be requested because this isn't like football or the Yankees of where they run out of numbers for you.
I'm just thinking Wild Thing and Rick Vaughn.
I like it.
Not Wild here. He leaps ahead of Cale Strickland, 0-2.
He's got a nice low 3/4 arm angle, creates some sink. Good mix coming off of Ferrone from the left side.
Just missed his spot there. Strickland 9-hole hitter. Chris Stanfield waiting on deck. A couple of doubles in this inning so far for Auburn. The first from Caden Green, the last from Derek Fabian. Wave and a miss. Green down on strike. Double that stretched Auburn's lead a half inning ago. And Tanner Bauman facing a pinch hitter right off the bat here, and it's fouled off the wall. That was close. Welcome to the ball game, Mason Sweeney.
How about Mason Sweeney jumping up, going, all right, first pitch, I'm not waiting around for that slider anymore either. That's a man with a game plan that left the bat, left the bench with a bat going, waiting, I'm going. Maybe I can ambush a fastball and get things started.
Sweeney 13 for 55 on the season. And he takes ball 1, so why pinch hit Sweeney batting from the right side? Well, Max Grant batting from the left, one of 6 Alabama left-handed hitters who are combined 0 for 14 with 7 strikeouts. And the 1 strikeout he had against a righty was the first batter of the game, Gage Miller.
Yeah, and Gage looked as bad as I've seen him look all year long. Tanner Bauman's been on his game, that fastball slider mix. But sometimes, I mean, you look at Coach Vaughn, these are my guys. And you got a bad break. You got Hagen Smith for Arkansas, who's a nasty lefty. What are you going to do? You got Holton from Vanderbilt. There's nasty lefties around. You got to trust your guys to go up there and put together professional at-bats. And against Bauman, they've just struggled.
Sweeney coming off the bench, trying to give Alabama a little bit of life out of Phil Campbell, Alabama.
Where?
Phil Campbell?
I got nothing. I grew up in Nebraska. I mean, I saw Warrior, Alabama. I know where that's at.
I think it's right below Jason Campbell, Alabama.
Got it. Well done.
Ooh. And a leadoff walk here in the 7th to Mason Sweeney. Bauman's dealt with some free bases tonight. He's hit a couple of guys. He's now walked 3, but none of them have come across the score thus far.
Well, that one, he tried to go with a 3-2 changeup.
He's got a tough assignment right here out of the chute. Gage Miller is 1 for 3. He's driven in Alabama's only run. And it's 1-0 on Miller, who is top 10 in the SEC in batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage. I think the math putting him in the leadoff spot, Greg's pretty simple. They want to make sure he gets as many at-bats as possible.
Scoring 1.3 runs per game, which is 3rd in the SEC. Pretty much doing everything that they need him to do. And when I hear an SEC coach say best player you'd never have heard of, I'm like, all right, red flags, what do we got?
And Miller gets underneath this one, charging in blue, and he's got it. Gliding in, losing the cap. Pointing to his eyes, saying, I'm not sure if you saw it there off the bat. It kind of got above the lights, didn't it?
Yeah, I think we got what they call a high sky, which ball gets above the lights, becomes very difficult to find if you don't have it right off the bat. And that was a little bit of Cade Ballou, late jump on it. Became a bit of a scramble. Nice pitch by Cannon. Little cut fastball slider away. Got Miller out on the front foot.
High sky, high wall.
High wall.
37 feet. And called strike there on Ian Petrutz, who's 0 for 3 today.
Petrutz is so happy that Tanner Bauman is now sitting on the bench and no longer able to play.
I think you can say that for almost the entire Alabama lineup. And the dirt, and off goes Swinney. And he is safe at second on the dirt ball read.
Great read. Strickland did everything he could. He knocked it down. This ball came up high on him. He's able to knock it down, keep it in front.
This has been a game where it's been nip and tuck. Every 90 feet has been critical. Alabama picks up a big base there. Called strike 2.
See, this is what Cannon's been unable to do, which is locate 96, 97. He's gotten that in the middle of the plate. The off-speed stuff has not been as sharp as it was last year, and I'm talking about his slider. And that was a slider that he threw at 56 feet that got swinging to second base.
Just with the fastball there at 96 like you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, that one, you know what the right pitch is. Okay, I just threw 97. I painted the inside corner. I was relaxed and comfortable. Now you're standing out there going, this one's going to be better. And you jump at it a little bit and end up driving it down into the dirt.
And Petrutz saying it hit him. Jeremy Dupree agrees. And a 2-strike hit by pitch. That is the 3rd time an Alabama hitter's been hit by a pitch tonight.
Cannon's got him. Guys go with a wipeout slider at the proverbial back foot slider. This would be a back knee slider.
Just grazed him.
You know, they have that little rule about you got to get out of the way of an off-speed pitch. Hypothetically, that knee looked like it was tending to flex in. Be a tough overturn. I don't necessarily agree with it. If you want to get hit, get hit.
Justin LeBron's been a tough out today. He represents the tying run. Beg your pardon, the go-ahead run. Waxed that one foul. 0-2 late on 96. Freshman from Florida. Coach Vaughn, one of the first things he did when he got the Alabama job was flew out to go visit with Justin LeBron and say, we'd love to have you at Alabama still.
Yeah, number 8 shortstop in Florida.
The 0-2 clubbed in the air, center field. Stanfield going back. He makes the catch over his shoulder. Swinney will tag and go to third. And there's runners in the corners now with 2 outs. Great read by Chris Stanfield.
I mean, I'm thinking Gage Miller, you can't sneak a fastball by. I'm now going Justin LeBron, you can't sneak a fastball by. This ball's elevated, out over. And he is right on time in loud contact for the 3rd AB this game. And the only other one he didn't have loud contact, he walked.
Well, now William Hamiter grew up bleeding crimson. Chance for a big hit here against the enemy, the Auburn Tigers. And a called strike 1 on Hamiter. So far, Cannon's done a good job of getting ahead.
I'm kind of surprised Hamiter didn't jump on that because he had jumped on a couple of previous pitches against Bauman early on in the count with runners in scoring position.
The 0-1 stroke through the left side for a base hit. This will score Swinney. And the Auburn lead down to 1.
This is just a nice piece of hitting. Big gap between third and short. Fastball running away, almost off the plate. Hammered more than comfortable taking the single to the left side. His first hit of the night in the series.
I feel pretty confident that if Cannon grooves a fastball here, that Cade Snell's going to let it rip. And a ground ball on 2 hops out to first. McMurray's got it. That's the end of the inning. But a 2-out RBI single from Will.
Auburn has struggled mightily in one-run games this year. And you look at the other piece of the pie, and Auburn is 23-1 when they're up after 7.
Top of the order due up here, facing Austin Morris, who came into the game striking out Cale Strickland to end the 6th. Stanfield a chance to get something going for the Tigers. And one thing we saw in that line score, Greg, was that, Auburn, the last 2 times they've scored, Alabama's come back and gotten that run right back.
Yeah.
Auburn has not answered an Alabama run.
Very nice catch. I saw that. I mean, I was appreciating the fact that Alabama keeps finding a way to answer, keeps this thing close.
Chance here for Miller, Speedy Stanfield, and Miller makes the play in time. And that's been the secret so far for Alabama. If they get the leadoff man, they haven't given up a run.
I mean, and you look at 2 of the runs that Alabama's given up. One's a double play that doesn't get turned in the first, and then McMurray hits a sac fly, and then the other one last inning is the mystery play out in right field that turns into a leadoff double.
Ball 1 on Ike Irish, who's beginning to swing the bat as well as he has all season long. Last 5 games, man, that's the reason Auburn's averaging 10 runs per game their last 5. Ike Irish is back.
Yeah.
After battling injury there.
7 for 18 last week against Georgia Tech and Missouri. Couple of home runs, 8 RBIs. He's a big piece of this puzzle.
Might be the biggest.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw what happened to McMurray when Irish went down. He's just a very patient hitter, lets the ball get deep, is more than comfortable going to left field on anything.
The 2-2. This is out to the shortstop, Justin LeBron, who bobbles it, throws over to first. That's a 6-3 in the book. Bryce Eblin, the new second baseman, was stationed in shallow right field.
I'm writing down 4-3.
I think it'd be misleading from a spray chart perspective if you wrote down 6-3.
That's why I write down 4-3.
There is Bryce Eblin. He started a good number of games so far for Alabama, and then riding with Max Grant here recently. He's had the hot hand. Cooper Weiss, 2-out knock. And now Auburn can try and use some of their speed here if they want to try and steal a 2-out run.
He said he's been really good, leading the SEC in caught stealing. Moore's fairly efficient, quick to home plate. Fastball slider mix, so nothing really slow paced, but you got to be focused on McMurray and getting him out and keeping Weiss.
Shift back on for Alabama. There goes Weiss. The pitch is low. Throw down from Gassetti is a strike, and they got him. Don't run on.
Probably about a 1.2 seconds. He gave Gassetti a chance, and Gassetti just threw a dart. And of course, he comes up to the plate.
Sure does. And Alabama, 12-15 in the SEC. They have struggled on the road this year. They're just 3-9. This is not a do-or-die game by any means, but it's pretty important they get at least one game in this series. Winning this series would go a long way, and losing the first game would not get them any closer to doing that.
No, this is every game's important at this point to their seeding in the SEC.
Bounced out to short. Weiss has got it. Past the glove. In time to get Gassetti. Let's take a look at Alabama's tournament resume entering the final weekend of the regular season. Top 15 in RPI, top 5 in strength of schedule. Their opponents have played a tough schedule. They got 12 wins against the RPI top 50. The only number on that whole page there, Gray, that you're all worried about is that conference record at 12-15.
Yeah, and if they get stuck at 12 wins, they're going to have a hard time.
Yes. Even
though the rest of the resume looks really good, even 13 wins makes me fairly comfortable saying that they're going to get in. And 15 wins has me edge of the line going regional host.
Yeah, do you have a good run in Hoover next week?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's what Coach Vaughn was remarking at when we spoke to him today. I asked him what it was like that first year in the SEC, and one thing he had a real tough time coming to grips with is that you can be at 13 wins and be in danger of not getting in.
Yeah.
Then you're at 16 and you're like, oh, you're hosting.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what? That's like a weekend.
Yeah, that's really all it is. It comes down to a couple one-run games and finding a way to get a big 2-out hit.
TJ McCants heading the count here, 2-1. Homered last week against LSU. Got a career high 14 home runs this year. He had just 22 across 3 seasons in Oxford at Ole Miss. In a career year. Takes up and in.
No, it's been good to see. Coach Vaughn was raving about this young man and who he is, and it just felt like a change of scenery. It wasn't really a big hitting approach. But you saw his talent his freshman year when he was freshman All-American.
3-1. Banged up the middle. Tough chance for Green. He's got it. Throw to first is in time. Caden Green. A marvelous play up the middle.
My initial take was, why did Will Cannon pull his glove down? And then it's like, well, Caden Green's got it, but it ain't that easy of a play, and that is why he's out there. He really makes all the plays at second base. He is just a baseball player.
You know, it's one thing to make that play when the catcher's running.
Yeah.
It's another to do it with McCants.
Out of the left-handed batter's box.
Left-hand hitting center fielder. So 2 down. Here's Will Hodo.
Cannon still unable to land that slider. It's another one of those eye tests. I'm sitting there and I got one of my bullpen guys and he's struggling to find his breaking ball. That fastball and all the adrenaline that he had last inning has gotten taken away a little bit. It went from 96, 97. Right now we're 93, 94. Location's not quite as good. There's all sorts of good eye tests if you're watching the game closely.
The 2-0, a rocket backhand attempt by McMurray. Ricochets off his glove, off the sidewall. Hodo's racing for second, and he's going to have a 2-out double. And just like that, the tying runs in scoring position.
Goes down as a double. This ball's blistered right at McMurray. See that he is left-handed, so it's a short hop, laser to the backhand side. He's unable to knock it down, and conversations over.
Bryce Eblin. This will be Eblin's first plate appearance of the night. He came in the bottom of the 7th as a defensive replacement, but keep in mind who's waiting in the wings here, Greg. Gage Miller's on deck.
Oh yeah, no, that everybody's well aware of that, and that was what the pitching coach Everett Tiefert came out to discuss, was how we're facing Eblin. Hey, don't look now, but that guy's on deck that we don't really want to see with the game on the line.
Yeah, the first pitch strike from Will Cannon, who he's gotten ahead here.
Yeah, that's the motive. Get this guy out and face him next inning.
Eblin had just 1 hit against LSU. You know, he was really going terrifically offensively before a hamstring injury, you know, knocked him out there in March, and struggled to get it going again offensively. Tying run, Hodo at second. And Bauman flicks one over that way.
It just has
Will
not
Cannon,
gotten back into the groove.
Neither have I. Will Cannon's been in the game for an inning.
Who did you have in that spot?
Tanner Bauman.
Attaboy.
He was out there for a while.
You can tell the one guy's got left hand and the other guy's a righty.
That's a nice catch.
It's the only way I can tell. They don't wear numbers or anything.
No.
And have their name on the back of the jersey.
Swing and a miss. One and 2, big spot. Will Cannon trying to get the Auburn Tigers the lead going to the bottom of the 8th. Eblin a chance to tie it.
That was the pitch.
Yep.
That was the pitch. Every time I'm sitting there watching a guy and then at bat, I'm going, okay, here's where the pitch needs to be. You just got him with a changeup away, got a nice swing through, should open up a good fastball inside, and he just missed it.
2-2. Ground ball out to short. Weiss bobbles it, picks it up, thrown on the first in time. And they're capable of winning the whole thing, but you like A&M.
Yeah, I just think overall package, I mean, Tennessee's really good. You can't, hard to turn away them, hard to turn away Arkansas, and then not going to slight Kentucky because they have continued to find a way to win.
Yeah, big series this weekend against Vanderbilt. And if I had told you that Kentucky and Vandy were going to be playing a series and one team is going to be fighting for their postseason life, I sure as heck wouldn't have thought it would be Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt's going to need a couple wins here at the end or into the tournament, which is a shocking development. After they sweep Auburn and then start off the season, go to Georgia and get swept.
2-2, hit high in the air, deep to center field. McCann's going back. He's at the track, and it is caught at the base of the wall. Cooper McMurray just missed.
Just the trajectory of the ball coming off the bat, launch angle, is told me that there's no way this ball's getting close. That ball was a towering fly ball.
We talked about Cooper McMurray having that 105-mile-per-hour line drive hit at him. He had 105 off his bat there.
But it was too high.
Yeah, too high. Well, you know, it's all about launch angle, Greg. You gotta understand, this whole game is about launch angle. Green tries to drop down a bunt, and it goes foul. Miller pounces on it.
It's all about the launch angle. And that launch angle, I don't think we have yet, do we?
35 degrees.
That's too high.
No, that's Fahrenheit, by the way.
34 degrees, and that's a home run. Caden Green trying a little small ball, find a way to get on base.
What a night he's had, huh? 2 for 3, RBI, run scored, double.
That's what he's been doing.
Great play in the field, too. Changed the complexion of that top of the 8th. He cuts and misses there on the sweeping breaking ball. And there's 2 down here in the 8th. Austin Morris has come in. He's faced the minimum thus far. He's given up 1 hit, but Cooper Weiss was caught stealing.
Well, he's done a nice job. It's a nice sinker slider overlay. He's got some depth on the slider when he needs it. Keeping the ball down, working fast. And then when a guy does get on, he's got a quick slide step to home plate and give that catcher with a howitzer behind there a chance to throw somebody out.
Who had the best arm of the catchers you threw to?
You know what? Oh man, I can't even come up with them. I'd say, you know, Bob Melvin had a great arm behind home plate. I had some good ones. I really did. Just going through, I had so many catchers. Jamie Quirk was really good behind home plate. He was towards the end of his career.
1-1 to Ballou. Well, some of that's, you know, it's not just arm strength, though, is it? I mean, a lot of it's your mechanics.
Mechanics, the reception.
Yeah.
Yep. Backup catcher in Baltimore, Jeff Tackett. It's all about being quick, but if I give them a 1.2 to home plate, I'm going to have a really good chance if I hold the guy on. And then if I give him a 1.6, there's not a catcher alive that could throw anybody out.
2-2 to Ballou. Fouls it off. So in your mind, you're 1-2, you did your job.
Yeah, if I give him a good pitch to go, and that's the thing is, well, you know, Cooper McMurray's up there. I can't make this too good of a fastball for him to throw on because Cooper's going to do something with it. And so it's got to be a fairly good pitch, well located, a decent pitch to go. And I mean, Cooper Weiss was really more than obvious. We were discussing here in the booth is he's going to run. And so he goes on first pitch. He doesn't even give McMurray a chance, or, you know, to see ball one, and then all of a sudden the whole at bat changes. It was just first thing. This is really obvious. I'm going to go, and
2-2 pitch, clobbered, deep right center field. Cade Ballou over the absolute bomb from Ballou.
That ball was obliterated. 109, 437. That was an absolute no doubt. The freshman stays hot. 3 home runs his last 4 games. Make that 4 out of 5. This ball is a bomb. Sinker. Pretty fairly located, too. Outer third, down.
Alabama was 1 strike away from getting this to the 9th inning in a 1-run game, but Ballou with his 7th homer of this season. Now Mason Mainor's pinch hitting here for Cole Edwards. Takes ball 1. That's a big swing, Greg. Obviously, anytime you can go from 1-run to 2-run lead in the 9th, it's a big deal, but especially with Alabama's leading home run hitter leading off the 9th. He can no longer tie it.
Oh no, you got 1, 2, and 3 coming up for Alabama, and these guys are all dudes. And you give me a 2-run lead, you got a whole different animal than a 1-run lead, where I got to worry about somebody ambushing a first pitch. Now it's like, have at it. Is Alabama going to be in take mode, and they need to see a strike? It changes the whole game.
And Mason Mainor's a 3-1 count. Mainor's, he's a guy, of all the guys who've come in from the transfer portal, you can make an argument he's been the best hitter.
I wouldn't disagree with you. This kid can flat out rake.
Pace and point.
Yeah. Flat swing, long through, did it for 3 years at Jacksonville State. Watching him all fall here, it's just hard to get out. He's on time.
Derek Fabian coming up. Now we're going to mound visit from Alabama associate head coach Jason Jackson.
Had a little flat sinker to that guy right there. 437 feet later. Ball landed on a walkway.
So we got a pinch runner at first base, by the way. It's going to be Javon Hernandez. And they'll check on him.
Watch all these Auburn base runners that are getting themselves into a stolen base position. Their feet are constantly moving. Weiss, Stanfield will both hop a little bit and try to time up their jump with the pitcher going home. But Morris and the Alabama pitching staff do a great job of controlling the running game.
Well, Hernandez is tied for second in stolen bases behind Cooper Weiss. Weiss has 27, Hernandez has 8.
Well, I mean, if there's a catcher that can take you out of this game
Yes.
and out of your stolen base game, it's that guy sitting right behind home plate.
Yeah, and he already caught Weiss. 2-0 on Fabian, who doubled his last at bat, driving a run. And he rolls over 1 foul. We have not seen a crooked number all night. It's been 0s and 1s. Auburn with tallies in the 1st and the 3rd. Alabama got their 1st and the 4th. Auburn scores again in the 6th. Bama again in the 7th. And now Auburn with a run here in the 8th. And I think, whoever loses this game, Greg, is going to look back and say they had some missed opportunities for some clutch base hits. I mean, both teams. Alabama 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Auburn 1 for 9. As this ball is raked down the left field line, and it is fair off the base of the Green Monster. Hernandez pulling into third, standing up, and it is a jolt double from Derek Fabian.
He started getting hot last series against Missouri. It was 5 for 8, 4 runs, couple of doubles. Had 3 hits on Sunday against Missouri. Today, 2 for 4, 2 doubles. That one a hanging slider, and that one is.
Second year at Alabama, and you see the walks, 17 walks in 30 innings, but it's worth noting that since April, he's got just 2 walks in over 12 innings. And he fires ball 1 to Cale Strickland. So while first base is open, you got Chris Stanfield on deck. You don't want to be too careful with Strickland, do you?
He's already got it doubled, or he's got a single down the right field line. He's 1 for 3. No, but now I'm in a 2-0 hole. I'm not going right down Broadway here and seeing what you got.
Ooh, feathers over the slider for strike 1.
And there you go. So now the game goes, all right, am I going to throw another slider? Is Strickland going to get onto that pitch, or is he going to stay on fastball and keep hunting that?
Went back to the slider, flipped it in again.
That was a completely different slider. A couple different angles on it. He's got one that's a little bit more of a 2 to 8. That one was closer to 1 to 7.
Where's he go? 2-2. Down and away. Great block by Cassetti. That saved the run.
Yes, it did. That one had some depth on it too. Created a little bit more velocity. So you've shown one fastball right here. You're going to go with the fastball in.
3-2. Bounced foul, third base side. There was the fastball.
I mean, not a great pass at it. Did enough to foul it off. But you've shown a couple really good sliders this at bat. I'm not giving in. I'm going back to that slider.
Ball 4. And that'll load the bases. Strickland spits on the slider.
Really good take. Couple of good takes on that slider. He never came off the fastball. Really good at bat by the freshman.
Well, it feels like this at bat's going to go a long way to determining how stressful that top of the 9th inning is for the Auburn fan base. Stanfield's 0 for 3 with a walk.
It's been one of their hotter guys. Just saw the approach that Moza had to Strickland. And there was a lot of sliders, and there were some good ones.
Trying to extend that career-long 8-game hit streak. And a ground ball punched up the middle, handled by Eblin, steps aboard second base, and that ends the inning. Auburn leaves. They did pick up a 1-run win in their last SEC home game against Ole Miss. And the first pitch, Gage Miller rockets it on the ground to Fabian. Long toss across, but it's on the money. 1 pitch, 1 out. Well, Greg, you thought they might be a little conservative trying to get that tying run on base. Gage Miller let it fly in the first pitch.
Yeah, and he got gotten on the pitch selection. Changeup, inner half. Actually got deep into Gage Miller's bat. Yeah, I am somewhat surprised, but you got to trust your best guy, Gage Miller, to go up there and get a good pitch to hit, and he got a changeup.
Now Ian Petrutz takes strike 1. Cannon has just 1 save this year. Greg, as you pointed out, it's not necessarily a reflection totally upon him. Auburn at 25 and 25 hasn't had as many opportunities as normal, but it was against Arkansas. Well, and that leaks through Strickland.
And what that 1 run that Cade Ballew's home run did was now allows Cannon to go with that first pitch fastball for strike 1. And it just alleviates a little bit of the stress. Now when a base runner gets on base, that stress is all back on because the tying run's back up at the plate. But it just allows me to attack the zone a little bit more freely.
Defense playing straight up. Rick Murray guarding the line at first. And this ball is skied high in the air. McMurray giving it a courtesy look, but that's going to land in the seats. Strike 2 on Petrutz.
Way out front of that off-speed pitch.
So you see a guy out in front of an off-speed pitch like that. What does that do for your next pitch selection?
Well, if that was a changeup, then I try to soften it up a little bit more, get on the inside of it, create a little bit more action, and take off another mile or 2 and see if I can get him completely off the ball. Or if it's a breaking ball, then I'm going back foot, down and in, which hasn't been that effective for Cannon.
Swing and a miss, 95, eyebrow high. And Petrutz will take a seat.
Cannon's able to pull back and get some velocity out of that one when he needed it. He's been down to 93 and got up to 95 for that.
That is his first strikeout of the appearance, and now Justin LeBron, who's been the toughest Alabama hitter to retire today. He's 2 for 3, a double, a walk, and the one out was a screamer into center. Jumps on the first pitch, he hooks one into left field, and the tying run will come to the plate. Justin LeBron. That freshman rakes.
Yeah, no, he has been every bit as advertised. Cannon goes with the first pitch, changeup, leads it elevated. LeBron for the day, 3 for 4 with a walk, 1 double, and 2 of his hits have been first pitch variety.
Well, here we go. This is how it ought to end, right? The right-hander from Phoenix City, Alabama against the Tuscaloosa native, and this pitch is lifted in the air, shallow center, Stanfield racing in, Green's going out, and tumbling to the ground, Caden Green makes the innings. Is that a high enough walk rate to wear 99?
99's a unique number. That's got to be requested because this isn't like football or the Yankees of where they run out of numbers for you.
I'm just thinking Wild Thing and Rick Vaughn.
I like it.
Not Wild here. He leaps ahead of Cale Strickland, 0-2.
He's got a nice low three-quarter arm angle, creates some sink. Good mix coming off of Ferrone from the left side.
Just missed his spot there. Strickland, 9-hole hitter. Chris Stanfield waiting on deck. Couple of doubles in this inning so far for Auburn. The first from Caden Green, the last from Derek Fabian. Wave and a miss. Green down on strike.